So, because of some weird Christian extremists in Australia, from what I understand, uh, credit card companies are like forcing itch.io and Steam to take out anything adult related, like completely delist from their platforms, with no refunds, remove them from people's libraries. It's bad. Charlie explains it better though, so we're gonna react to his statement on it, and then uh, after that we'll probably do a game or something.
Huge censorship going on in gaming right now. I'm sure a lot of you saw Steam a few days back announced that hundreds of games have been pulled from their catalog because of the efforts of a group known as Collective Shout. Collective Shout is an organization that has been forcing payment processors to bully platforms into removing games they deem unfit for sale due to the themes around them. And
And see, what pisses me off is that this should not be legal at all. It should not be legal at all. And, like, censoring a media like this is really a sign that shit's going down and gonna fall apart.
for Steam's case, they targeted hundreds of adult games that featured like rape and incest. And a lot
While I do agree that those things are really, really fucking terrible, it, like, it doesn't just start with. It's not just those things. It's things like OnlyCans. You know, OnlyCans is a silly kind of sus game where you take photos of living soda cans, but it has a secret twist at the end where you find out it's a horror game and those are human souls inside the cans.
of people were pumping their fist like, yeah, that's good. How could you possibly be mad at that? Less degeneracy and disgusting shit on the platform. This is a big
Right.
W across the board. It's not censorship if it's things I don't like being taken down. Obviously, like every weapon out there, this is only going to be used for good. Clearly, they're only going to use this power to take down very bad, gross things, which is the most low IQ take you could ever have. Collective Shout, just yesterday, has now also gone after itch.io, and they have removed every single not suitable for work game from their platform. Not just rape and incest games, all adult games. We have
Which is like a good chunk of their fucking games.
de-indexed all adult NSFW content from our browse and search pages. We understand this action is sudden and disruptive, and we are truly sorry for the frustration and confusion caused by this change. Recently, we came under scrutiny from our payment processors regarding the nature of some content hosted on itch.io. Due to a game titled No Mercy, which was temporarily available on itch.io before being banned back in April, the organization Collective Shout launched a campaign against Steam and itch.io directing concerns to our payment processors about the nature of certain content found on both platforms. So this is the playbook here. Collective Shout is a very powerful organization who somehow has a lot of leverage on payment processors. I don't know if they're just over there giving them perpetual wet willies or they got
I think they're just fucking bullying MasterCard and Visa. That's where my brain goes. Like, the fuck?
some serious dirt on like the upper echelon elites in the food chain at the payment processors. Like they got proof they're in the Epstein files or some shit. But they have got these payment processors by the nutsack, and they are squeezing the piss from their balls. So now the payment processors are LARPing as the moral authority on what people are allowed to spend the money they earned on. So they're making these sweeping censorship changes to Steam and itch.io. Steam, they made it very easy for the public to not make a big stink about it because they went after a very low-hanging fruit target that most people aren't going to be upset about. Oh no.
Right. Right. They went after the illegal shit. You know? The themes of illegal shit. But itch.io being such a broad sweeping thing, like, what the fuck?
No, you lost all your rape and, incest games. Boo-hoo, call the fucking ambulance. But what people don't realize is that is clearly just the first step here. Collective Shout
It's a
has now
front.
already taken that, which hasn't even been like a full week, and it's
It's a front.
translated it to wiping all adult content from itch.io, a totally separate platform using the same methodology of having the payment processors threaten to leave them. Censorship is not something that is a good thing. This is not a positive thing.
Right.
Yoko Taro also came forward saying, like, this is pretty bad stuff, that other countries can now limit everyone else's free speech.
Yeah, it like is so it takes away freedom of the press and free speech in a whole new way for so many countries. And on top of that, like, that is the main way that sales happen. So I don't know if they're going to get taken to international court over this or what, but it is not looking good, dude.
He's right. That's not great. You don't like to see that. And let's go ahead and extend this to its natural conclusion here. As Collective Shout becomes more and more successful at censoring games, other organizations will spring up and do the same for things Collective Shout maybe doesn't want to see censored. Like, who's to say, with this censorship, now that it's proven that it can be done by having the payment processors threaten to pull out of these services, if you could bully them through the payment processors, you win. That's checkmate. Who's to say an organization doesn't pop up that wants to take away all kinds of LGBTQ representation in games? And now,
Yeah, shit, I totally didn't think about that. Fuck. That's awful, dude. That we're already dealing with a fucking firestorm as it is. They removed the B and the T from the Stonewall Riots history page, which is ridiculous. Like, trans people, bi people, non-binary people, pansexual people, we all exist, motherfucker. You can't take that away. Just and it's just like, are we going to be silenced? Is creativity going to be silenced? You know, think about it for a minute, dude.
now that they have a proven formula to follow, they could easily spring up and be probably very successful. Another organization could come about where they believe that M-rated games just shouldn't exist. Games should be focused purely to appeal to a younger demographic. They shouldn't be deep, thought-provoking games. There should be no violence. There could easily be a very puritanical organization that comes forward making similar pushes for censorship. I don't know how delusional you have to be to think that somehow this is only ever going to be used against bad things. It's not. And it's already extending way beyond what it started with for Collective Shout. They started with a very easy win on a genre of games that most people aren't really going to miss. And they have already extended that to just broad adult content from another platform, itch.io. And as they continue to be more successful,
And don't forget, there are other platforms like fucking Game Jolts and shit, where a lot of those games are free, and have no budget. So yeah, that's gonna extend across everything.
more organizations are going to follow that blueprint, follow those footsteps, and be successful as well, censoring other things that maybe Collective Shout doesn't want to see censored. It's going to just be fucking pandemonium because it is clear now that these platforms are willing to go belly up, roll over, and suck the fucking schmeat of the payment processing cartel that shackles them. These payment processing patriots, who all of a sudden care so deeply about morality, are able to get these platforms to censor themselves at the behest of the organizations that are strong arming them. It's absurd. And it doesn't stop there. If you do any amount of research on Collective Shout, you'll see that it's not just like adult games.
They're kind of an extremist Christian organization, from what I understand.
They also went after Detroit Become Human and Grand Theft Auto 5 for absolutely fucking outlandish reasons. Like, this is actual horse hockey. And another scary fact, the article I was reading on stream, which I'm going to show you clips from so you can see about their previous attempts to go after things like Detroit Become Human and GTA 5, that article that I was reading then got taken down 8 hours after stream because Vice deemed it was a little too controversial because the article wasn't super favorable to Collective Shout.
No shit.
So Collective Shout not only has pull in censoring games, but it looks like they can even take down some articles that are a little, harsh on how they're going about their mission or what they're trying to do here. In other words, it seems virtually impossible for Steam to host any adult games depicting child abuse. Rather, Collective Shout may be targeting popular video games that depict children in scenarios where they face distress or harm, even if these depictions are intended to encourage concern and care in the player. From there, the organization may be describing these titles as featuring child abuse. In 2018,
Oh yeah. I remember Okay, if I remember correctly, when I was first watching Daz Games, in one of his like unboxing videos, he was talking about GTA 5 being banned in New Zealand. Was that Collective Shout who did that?
Collective Shout encouraged its supporters to sign a petition to ban Detroit Become Human for sale in Australia, claiming the game features child abuse and violence against women. The petition focused on an abusive father's violent behavior towards his housekeeper and daughter in the game. This dynamic, core to the character Kara's story arc, is intended to encourage empathy for the abused woman and child. While it's unclear whether Collective Shout is actively targeting Detroit Become Human in 2025, the removal of such a game would be akin to artistic censorship of material discussing misogynistic abuse against female family members. Targeting the game, in other words, could be considered anti-feminist in intent. That doesn't really make any sense. In 2014, the organization called on Target to remove Grand Theft Auto 5 from store shelves, sharing a petition that claims the game encourages players to commit sexual violence and kill women. Collective Shout described GTA as if it were a misogynistic funhouse, stating the game lets players enact their fantasies of committing extreme violence against women, including punching women to the point of unconsciousness, killing them with a bat, gun, or machete, running them down with a car, and setting them on fire as they continue screaming.
Okay, and this is the 5th installment of GTA. You weren't freaking out about this prior, and on top of that, you can do that to any gender. You can do that to any gender. The fuck?
What world are we living in? What? So that all this is only reserved and acceptable if it's men. Like if you're killing men with a bat, gun, and machete, running them down with a car and setting them on fire as they scream. These arguments are so weak and flimsy, and I think just downright detrimental to what they claim their mission is.
To quote a certain vampire, I hate everyone equally. Exactly.
This would basically, like these two things in conjunction, would make it so like most games won't even put women in there. So let's take the first example about like how children in like distress and harm is something that they would target and try and take down. It's why they went after Detroit Become Human. Let's extend that scope. Things like Limbo, Last of Us, Out of Sight, like these games where there are kids present and they do go through like hardship, that would be removed under their guidelines here. In Detroit Become Human, it's not like they're trying to glorify this type of horrible thing. It is used as a way of showcasing how bad a situation is and getting empathy from the player for what is happening to these characters. And yet they want to take it down, even though it is used to deliver positive messaging to the player. It's like they don't want any deep themes in their games, and not only that, it's like they don't want women to even be interactable in the games. So also something that wouldn't fly under their protocol here would be things like Tomb Raider. Any game where a female is leading it wouldn't really be possible because the women in the game are going to go through distress. Like Lara Croft goes through a lot worse than what they listed for GTA 5 being a misogynistic funhouse.
Lara Croft went through hell in every Tomb Raider game, bro.
Lara Croft gets killed in so many different ways, potentially, if you fail certain things. She's constantly being hunted, hurt. It's all like pretty much no game with a female character in it could be made if Collective Shout continues to gain this much power. It's a fucking absurd notion here. God of War, the new God of War, those games couldn't be made because Kratos' son obviously goes through a lot there. That would be a child in a harmful and distressing situation. It would be poo-pooed by Collective Shout. They would banish that shit to the Shadow Realm. Like, their rules on what is and is not acceptable are just unhinged. Again, this would fundamentally, like, scrub women from video games.
This would kill the entire video game industry as a whole. Like, genuinely think about it. It would.
Like, I don't know why they're not grasping that concept. They call GTA 5 a misogynistic funhouse because you can hurt women in it and that kind of thing, which you can also do to men. But the issue is exclusively because women can...
And the thing is, they're not even feminist, bro. They're not. They're just using it as a front.
also be hurt and killed in GTA 5 just like the men can. It's not like GTA 5 is telling the player, you have to go commit these sexual violent acts against women right now. We need you as the player to score 100 sexual violent crimes against our women in the city right now. Go out there. That's the quest. Go fucking just slap 1,000 women for maximum turbo gamer points. Like, it's pretty fucking crazy. So basically, if you are going to have women in the games, the only way I see that even be possible with Collective Shout's, groundwork they're laying here, the way I understand it, is if every female in the game is immortal, God mode activated, and uninteractable outside of dialogue and cutscenes, but the female character also cannot go through anything distressing or deep, basically has to just be like a complete
Like a fucking 2D Mary Sue, bro.
completely flat nothing burger of a character. Otherwise, it could be like too much harm that they faced or something in the game. It just seems completely antithetical to what the mission they claim to have is. Again, with how they have targeted games in the past and what they're currently doing, it feels like most game companies, in order to play ball with these demands, will probably just elect to not have female-facing games, like with a lead female protagonist, and they will probably ensure that the female characters that might appear in the game don't play a big role in it because they never know what Collective Shout might have an issue with. And since these games' budgets are so bloated these days, I don't think they'll be willing to take any kind of chances, any type of risk of their game being just like wiped off of like the biggest fucking gaming platforms like Steam. So they'll probably just elect to play it safe and have any female characters just in the background with a really insignificant role. Because, again, there's no way of knowing what Collective Shout's going to try and spin.
And that's the thing, this is really like a ticking time bomb, y'all. It's really a fucking ticking time bomb, because it could get to the point where females aren't represented at all. Children don't have a role at all. And it's like, no. A lot of these games need more than just men to convey a proper story. It's unrealistic. You know?
When it comes to these games and these characters, like again, Detroit Become Human, all of that they listed there as an issue that was literally in the game to deliver messaging on how unacceptable that shit is. It was used for empathy, not a glorification or anything at all. It was actually delivering a message that really feels very in line with what Collective Shout claims to fight for. It is completely out of control. And let's go ahead and just continue to play a little here, a little theater of the mind. If you can successfully bully payment processors, and it's reported that Collective Shout is doing this by constantly phoning them up with like 1,000 employees or so. I don't know if that's all confirmed or not. But if you can get 1,000 people together and successfully have these payment processors threaten to leave some of the biggest platforms for gaming, think about what kind of power you can control with these payment processors. If you can just have them like puppets on your strings, that is so dangerous. There is no amount of mental gymnastics you can possibly do to conjure up a justification for why a payment processor has a say in what you can spend your money on, what they will permit you to spend your doubloons on.
Your hard-earned cash, bro. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
That is a bad direction for the future, which obviously extends far beyond just video games. This is a much bigger topic, a bigger issue than just gaming. If payment processors are now going to step in and basically be like the fucking, lacrosse house party guy who's like, who do you know here? No, you're not allowed in. When you're trying to spend your money on a product, we've got a huge problem. Just play with that possibility here for a second. Like, let's say you want to buy a dildo or something, right? You want an adult sex toy. Well, what if the payment processors deem those to be obscene? We will not support any businesses that are selling these adult toys. Consumers shouldn't be able to buy these. Okay, all of a sudden you can't buy those? That's been fucking wiped out. And let's take it to something that's not even sexual.
Like, entire industries are going to collapse with this kind of behavior.
Let's say a katana or something. I want a katana for my room. I really like some of the blades from One Piece. It'd be really nice to have a replica blade. Well, turns out the payment processors deem those to be a little too dangerous and threaten to pull out of any websites that are offering katanas for sale because those are some very scary, lethal weapons. So, can't buy those anymore. It's a big issue. Payment processors should have no say in what you spend your fucking money on. Of course,
Exactly.
that doesn't apply when it's like you trying to buy something highly illegal. I get that. But things like this is absurd. Like, this is completely preposterous and out of control. Anyway, I just had to yap about this a bit. That's really it. So yeah, there is huge.
God damn it. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. And it's really fucking gross, to say the least. It's almost comically absurd. It's almost comically absurd. We have too much shit going on for us not to be able to spend our hard-earned money on games that evoke feeling. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's you've seen my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts, cause I don't even know what to fucking say about this. It just pisses me off. Everything pisses me off right now.